Brand new info just dropped today for the specialization system we are going to be getting at the end of the month in like 2 to 3 weeks. In the previous video where they gave us some information on the specialization system, it went over the core type units. I think today we are going to see the support type units and the disabler type units. Maybe we see some nuke stuff, but let's see what they've included in this update. So specialization system part 2, here we go. Each Elmon can be specialized up to 6 times, limited by the current evolution star rank. I think they included this the same thing as the last time, because I think we already saw that last time. What else? 5 specialization points. Each time you specialize, max 30 points. When using the same Elmon for power-up, you will also gain 1 point. It's the same as what we're feed a dupe of a unit to get 1 extra speed right now. When the specialization system comes into play, that's going to be giving us a point instead of getting the extra speed, because not everything needs to have super fast speed. Some things are better with extra crit rate, extra crit damage, extra sustain, extra maybe accuracy. So not everything necessarily needs speed as much as others. When using the same element for power up, you'll also gain, we already saw that. Invest at least 5 points in each row or in shallow rows to unlock the next row. That's just skill tree, typical skill tree stuff. Each type will have a unique skill tree with a total of 7 types. The escapist type will be removed. The material type is excluded. You can choose to invest all your points into a single specialization to obtain more powerful deep level skills, or distribute points across different specializations to become a versatile unit. This entirely depends on how you want to build your Elmon and is intended usage scenarios. I think people are more likely to just put all of their points into one thing. Like if they want extra crit rate, they're going to go all in for the extra crit rate or damage or things like that. So core type spec preview, we already saw this one in the last one. Base attack increase, crit rate increase. These are all the options you have. You can't do all of them, but these are the options that you have. Progressive multi-hit skills gradually increase crit damage. Damage received from bosses reduced. Critical damage increases by 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 when the first hit of your attack hits an enemy. Critical rate increased by 135% when attacking bosses specifically. So 2 different crit rate ones. Counter Veil, when you do not have attack up, attack increases by 3, 6, 9, 12, 15% of base value. When you do not have defense up, defense increases by 3 to 15% of base value. Riposte, damage increase by... I'm just making sure everything is on the screen. Damage increased by 1 to 5% when performing a counterattack. Damage increased. Pincer when attacking together with other allies. Cascade. I mean, you guys can see where some of these might be useful versus other things. Like, for example, sharpshooters attacking together makes a lot of sense. Light jack-o'-lantern, light pumpkin freak makes a lot of sense to have the pincer on him. Cascade, damage increases for additional attacks from Echo Set or certain skill effects. Rebellious, every time you receive a debuff, the critical damage of your next attack increases. Like, for example, the Fire Ripper would be really good to have that on. Nemesis, damage increased by 1, 2, 3% when attacking with an advantageous attribute. That's kind of like a, you don't know what to put on it, put that on. Delicate, when your attack lands a critical hit, there is a 3 to 15% chance to ignore the enemy's effect resistance. Potential critical damage increases by 1 to 5% for each buff you have, up to 3 to 15%. Seniority, at the start of each turn, increases attack power by 1 to 5% of base value, up to 10 times. This could be nice for the guild bosses, actually. That could be... or like any boss that takes a while to beat. Sadism, critical damage increased by 1 to 5% of each debuff the target has, up to 4 to 20%. And now we have, so that's just a recap of the things that we had before, or the things that we mentioned in the last video. Now we have some extra stuff. We have the tank type spec preview. I really should fix this so that we can both see the same thing at the same time, so that I don't have to keep checking. Row 1, column 1, solid. Base defense increases by 4 to 20. Not percent, just flat. Strong base HP increased by 50 to 250. Tolerant effect resistance from 1 to 5%. It's like, those are like, you don't know what else to put it, so... well, I suppose it's row 1, so you have to put one of them. So, just little extra buffs. Pachyderm, the effect of defense down you have is decreased by 1 to 3%. Affable, healing effects and absorption of shield you receive are both increased by 1 to 3%. Ironclad, effective defense up you have is increased by 1 to 5%. Tenacity, when under inability state, your effect resistance is increased by 7 to 20%. I feel like this one is actually going to be very useful when under inability state. So that could be good for turn 2 bruiser type units that are going to be going up against some of the fast aggressive CC comps. Is you start getting some debuffs, you are under inability, you're stunned, you're frozen, whatever, and then your effect resistance increases so that they can't keep you on lock. Or theoretically, they can't keep you on lock. It's not going to work, we know, but theoretically. Indomitable effect resistance increased by 5 to 10% when HP is below half. And then we have, what else? Steadfast. So you can see a little graphic of that, kind of similar to the other one we saw in the last, or actually up above too. Steadfast, no matter how high the enemy's effect accuracy is, you will have at least 2 to 10% effect resistance. That could be a nice one. So I see a lot of things that answer my current complaints about, like, man, these CC teams are very strong. So these things are going to be able to counter those crazy CC teams, which is really nice. I think is really nice. Adept, each time you gain a debuff, your speed increases by 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, up to 4, 8, 12, 21, 30. Vanguard, during the first 5 turns of battle, the crit damage you receive is reduced by 2 to 10%. The crit damage you deal is increased by 2 to 10%. Interesting. So it feels like that should be 2 different things, not the same thing. This could be good for... Well, I mean, this is good, like, for arena defense, for, like, counter cleave. And then some kind of bruiser that's going to be... I mean, this is the tank, so they're kind of bruisers. They're not... it's not, like, just support. So this seems like this would be good for a arena defense bruiser. That's supposed to be able to withstand some damage and then come in and blast the offense. Maybe also Fire Fairy could be another thing that's good for. Fortress, when you're at an attribute disadvantage, the damage you receive is reduced by 1 to 3%. Could be nice for some trap teams. Survival Instinct, when your HP falls below half, the crit damage you receive is reduced by 3 to 15%. Again, more for those trap teams that come in and, like, Fire Fairy, things like that. Crush, against enemies whose defense is less than half of yours, the damage you deal is increased by 1 to 3%, and the damage you receive is reduced by 1 to 3%. So a lot of damage mitigation stuff here. Indestructible, at the start of the battle, your max HP is increased by 1 to 5%. Last Stand, each time an ally dies, your max HP increases by 2 to 10% of its base value, and their defense increases by 2 to 10% of its base value, stacks up to 4 times. This could be good for revivers, right? Because if they're, for example, the Tree Iron Fist, if that's the last one surviving, extra HP, extra defense, and then gets a turn and revives everything. And then we have Disruptor type spec preview. That's for all the CC units. Effect accuracy is increased by 1 to 5%. Base HP increased by 50 to 250. Entangle. Enemies under debuffs deal 1 to 5% less damage when attacking you. This effect does not stack with other damage reduction effects. Purge. When you remove a buff, gain an additional 2 to 10% effect accuracy. Subtlety. Passive skills effect accuracy increases by 2 to 10%. Lock on. The effect accuracy of single target active skills increased by 2 to 10%. Expose. Whenever you successfully remove an enemy buff, your speed increases by 1 up to 3 to 15. Interesting. So good for strippers specifically. Scan. Effect accuracy of wide area active skills is increased by 1 to 5%. And then why you have this? That's the poster child for what is this? Disruptor type? Yeah, the poster child. Good old Tree Archon. Everyone's favorite unit. Let's see. Harvest. Each time an enemy dies, your crit rate. And in fact, so okay, this is still this. Each time an enemy dies, your crit rate and effect accuracy both increase by 1 to 5%, stacks up to 5 times. Lethal effective damage over turn you apply is increased by 2 to 10%. This is gonna be nice for the fire specialists. Destroyer effect activation rate increased by 1 to 3% when applying attack down, defense down, and speed down. That's very specific. Curse, effect accuracy increases by 2 to 10% when applying debuffs, excluding stun, sleep, freeze, taunt, hex. Cunning, no matter how high the enemy's effect resistance is, you will have at least 2 to 10% effect accuracy. So that kind of counters the resistance that we saw before, as long as people are actually putting that on. What else? Simplicity, effect activation rate of your normal attack is increased by 1 to 5%. Scheme, there's a 2 to 10% chance to increase the initial duration of debuffs you apply by 1 turn, excluding the CC ones and the bombs. And then the row 6, column 3, concentration, you ignore a portion of the enemy's effect resistance equal to 2 to 10% of the target's total effect resistance. And that is it for this, the information for this update. Basically, we just got, well, you already know because you saw what we were doing. But yeah, basically, we just got the tank and disruptor type skill trees. And we'll see, because there's going to be other ones coming into play as well. I guess we're not going to see the support and the nuker ones today, but I would expect the support to be similar to the tank skill trees, and the, I mean, at least a little bit. And then the nuker type would be probably similar to the core type. So I think that'll be like half of it will be like the same stuff, basically. That's my thought process. But anyway, that is it for this one. I think it's really cool that we're actually getting this. Not only that we're getting skill trees, but that we continue to get stuff. The game has not been out that long. It hasn't even been 6 months. So it's really great that we're seeing so much content so fast. And I think that kind of shines a light on these other developers with larger teams, 10 times larger teams or more. Why does it take them so long for some of these things? I don't think it's that they can't do it. Obviously, it's not that they can't do it. So like, why? Is because it's intentional. They don't want to put out the content unless they have to. They wait for the other games to put out content. They're like, no, we know that game just came out, but we have this new thing that we waited until now. Like they're holding off. Like, you know that, right? They're holding off until look at chronologically when things come out in one game, like new updates, new content. It's when another game that is a competitor also puts out new content, or there's a new game on the market. It's all strategic. So anyway, that's it for this one. But this, we just get new content. They're like, yeah, we put new content out for you because we put new content out. So I do appreciate that. Anyway, that's it for this one. See you as always in the next one.